let's talk about like why this is a culture game more than anything else. If you're not prioritizing sales in your business, if you're not, shedding the light on the importance of converting leads into signed, clients, then you will hemorrhage opportunities, right? And I have this saying, lead abundance makes you weak, right? So I talk about getting into lead abundance, but any of you who know or have achieved lead abundance know that the more leads you get, the weaker you get on the sales process. There's about 4 areas I want to hit on before we go into the tactics here. First is the belief that it's not about signing everyone up. It's not about like get every lead and close, either they buy or they die. It's not about that, okay? It's not about converting leads that aren't right fit, okay? The key insight shift for you to think about is the process I call lead prioritization and tunnel follow-up, which we'll get into later, okay? Second is your team can reap a tremendous amount of benefits from having a better sales process and culture. So a lot of executives, CEOs, entrepreneurs, they feel weird being salesy, right? And the challenge with that is actually hurts your whole team, right? And as soon as this calculation occurs in your mind, you actually start gaining a positive outlook and then infecting your team with the positive outlook on sales. So for example, we just started doing this with our client experience team who just went through the process of asking clients for renewals, right? So I designed a client experience process on how they're going to get paid commissions for accounts that renew. So I had to work backwards and say what has to be true in order for that to happen, right? They had already been doing sales training every day, right? So they closed, I think, I don't know, a tenth of our clients, like in 1 week, already signed up for 12-month contract renewals because I had already created a sales culture in advance where they didn't feel as uncomfortable bringing up the renewal conversation, right? So that's something that works in my business, but you got to understand, marketing is never profitable in and of itself. The only way you can earn profit is by converting marketing generated leads into sales and having an efficient operation. You can hire and pay people more. You can promote people more. There's more job opportunities. So your team needs to be educated on this. So the sales culture document is something that you can literally just talk through with your team and explain to them that, hey, we're going to be making a push here because we're spending a lot on marketing. We're doing a lot of this. We're going to be making a push here where we want everyone to roll their sleeves up and help us with our sales process, right? The reality for most businesses is that leads are treated as an interruption, mostly by your team. Most times when a lead comes in, it's not treated with positivity, enthusiasm, and the real cost is nobody actually handles objections, right? And nobody asks for the sale, right? During the end of the sales transaction, there's micro moments when you're on a call with a client. There are micro moments that if you can just find how to work through those little micro moments where there's uncertainty at the end of a call, right? You can actually overcome their core objection, right? And you can actually turn them, whereas a call would have ended at the end of a call, it would have ended with, yeah, follow up with me, I'll follow up with you or whatever. You can actually take that to a decision if you hardwire to probe into whatever the objection is that the client has, okay? So the key in creating a sales culture is really about everybody on the team caring about growing the bottom line of the business because they're in it with you. Now, this is not easy to do, and it certainly is uncomfortable in the initial phases, but the benefits of having everyone fight for getting you new clients is extremely powerful. Okay. It's really about not missing opportunities ever. So there's a couple of ways that I want to kind of drill into first before we go into the weeds here. There's a couple of ways for you to turn maybes into yeses, okay? So the first thing I want to dive into is handling objections. and I want to kind of drill into the different categories of objections, okay? So there is only one objection. At the end of the day, there is one objection and one objection, and that is uncertainty, okay? There's no other objection other than I'm uncertain about making a decision right now, okay? Now, there's ways that people vomit that uncertainty out, okay? There's different colors of vomit. There's orange vomit, there's green vomit, there's yellow vomit, there's pink vomit, right? The different shades of vomit are what they say their objection is. Price, need to think about it, got to talk to another firm, got to talk to another business, got to talk to someone I live with, whatever, okay? The materialization of the uncertainty is the key for you to overcome it, right? So your job is to materialize and to help them identify what their specification of their uncertainty is. So let's use a couple examples here. So all I want you to think about is handling objections from the perspective of getting to the root uncertainty by identifying what they're saying their uncertainty is, which is never usually the truth, right? So if someone says that they need to talk it over with someone else, right? What they're really saying is, I don't feel certain about making a decision right now, okay? So your job, instead of ending the call as a nice tax-paying positive citizen going, all right, we'll follow up with you. Your job is to go through the uncomfortable emotions for 2 to 3 times and to get a decision, okay? So let's talk about that. Step 1 is always, one thing you can always look at is the 1 to 10 scale. 10 being you're ready to go, or 10 being you're ready to go right now, and 1 being you wouldn't touch my law firm with a 10-foot pole. Where are you at right now? Right? Most times, if people don't want to be confrontational, they'll say a 7, 8, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they're them trying to be nice and not confrontational. They're not really giving away enough information, right? So then your job is to ask the quantification question, which is, okay, great. What would take you from an 8 to a 10? Okay, and by asking that question, you are going to allow them to quantify their uncertainty. What most people do is the opposite. You'll go into selling mode. If you take this the wrong way, you'll go into selling mode. And selling mode is, here's all the benefits. Here's why we're different. Here's what we do. Blah, 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 blah. But you haven't identified their true underlying disagreement with your solution. Okay. So the next thing you want to start thinking about is, how do I articulate the materialization of their uncertainty? When in doubt, you can always go to the 1 to 10 scale, right? Whenever you sense it's general uncertainty, okay? For the talk it over, okay? You'd want to articulate that. So you'd want to ask a question like, awesome, thanks for being honest with me about that. Now, let me ask, did you decide how many firms specifically you wanted to talk to in this area? And did you decide what caliber of firm you're looking for? Or what specialty firm? Because I know most of the firms in this area. Okay, so your goal is to have them articulate that they really don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so you want to give them a buffet for their vomit, right? So you can chop up their vomit maybe 3 ways or so. You know, like, okay, here's so they're vomiting, which is all uncertainty, and then you're just creating a buffet so that they can see their uncertainty and they can actually choose a path. Okay, was it that I wanted to talk to a firm with expertise in this? Did I want to talk to 3 firms? Did I want to? And the response, most times when you've articulated it, the response will most times be, well, I just need to think about it, right? So then again, you can go back into the 0 to 10.